inspection ordinance for the city of Houston has faced repeated delays for a long time. There have been a lot of concerns about insufficient public input and enforceability. So we're going to look into that. I'm joined by Houston City Council member Tiffany Thomas from District F to talk about the ordinance and a series of public meetings, with the first kicking off tomorrow evening. So thank you so much. Always good to see you, Tiffany.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
No,
now, let's talk about this, because this has been a long time coming.
Yes.
And when it comes to apartment inspections, things of that nature, people have been very concerned about how things are handled in apartments overall. So let's break it down. How long ago did all of this start, and tell us why?
Well, what's so important about this ordinance is that 57 to 60% of Houstonians are leaseholders, which is really important. So we're talking about majority of our city. And, you know, we are a growth city where we're constantly focusing on multifamily because affordability is such an issue.
That's true.
And so for apartment inspection, we're looking at how do we resolve the issues around sanitation, you know, the structural environment. I mean, you can, you know, any news broadcast or online, you can see people talking about the conditions that they're living in, habitability, mold, the water not working, the gate not working, the lights being out at their property.
Rodents.
You name it. And so what we have done, there's an ordinance, a proposed ordinance on the books, and on Thursday, February 19th, we're going to have the first meeting where we can listen to leaseholders and operators and property managers, so we can make sure that the ordinance represents all interests at the same time.
What took so long to get to this point?
A series of delays, and the initial ordinance has evolved over time.
Right.
And a part of it is about the city's department and their capacity and what they're able to do. What's proposed creates more alignment between Public Works, Department of Neighborhoods, HPD, Houston Fire, and even solid waste. And so now we're going to the people, the actual leaseholders, the actual operators, because the reality is every landlord and operator is not the same.
That is so true.
And every multifamily development that we have in the city is not the same.
That's true. That's true. You can't put everybody into one box. You've got to have little different boxes to figure all of this out. And also the coordination, that also took time.
The coordination is key, because if we're going to do this and get to success and be excellent and surgical in the ordinance, because as you know, we have ordinances on the books all throughout the city, and not much enforcement, not much accountability. And a lot of that is around personnel support. And so from a council perspective, I'm really interested in hearing from leaseholders and operators, because when we get to the budget table in June, we need to make sure that this type of effort is funded. And it just reinforces the city's commitment to affordable housing as well.
So what's going to happen when people show up tomorrow and they want to speak? What is the protocol or process that they need to go through to be able to share this
We're going to have representatives from each city department that touches this ordinance, and they're going to talk about what they currently do, because a large piece of this is about public education.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't know where to start and really what is on the books and what we're obligated to already, and then what the proposed item moves us to.
Exactly.
So then we're going to go into two different rooms, our operators, property managers, landlords, and they're going to talk about their concerns and feedback, and then we're going to have another discussion with the leaseholders. I'm going to lead that discussion with the Texas Housers, and we're going to talk about the things around public safety, quality of life, habitability, in a place where they can feel safe.
Right.
And oftentimes we're unable to convene the number of leaseholders that we have. So that's what we're going to do on this Thursday, and also Thursday, March 5th.
Okay, you can see on the screen where it's taking place at the Alief Neighborhood Center. That's in the 11,000 block of Bellaire Boulevard, and districts, as you mentioned, A, yours is F. You'll be there too, G, J, and K. Now, for people who may be elderly who live in apartments, and are you going to have the ability to see it on Zoom or online at the same time?
Absolutely.
Or will that be for later?
No, HTV, the city station, will broadcast this live on all social platforms, and we'll also have translation services in Chinese, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Urdu.
Okay.
So we're creating space for all of Houston, and that's really important. But here's the deal.
Yes.
If you don't make the two, we still have engagement sessions after, because we're not scheduled to bring this up to committee until March 30th.
Right.
So just because they don't make this meeting does not mean that we're not going to receive their feedback.
Well, also with these inspections, though, will this help you to make sure that, and no offense to any good landlords, but the ones that are not, to hold them accountable for some of these things? Because I think that's the biggest thing. I used to live in apartments. I have a home now, but for those of us who used to or do now, that's the biggest thing. Is you can say it,
Yeah.
But if it's nothing's done, then it's
Sure.
like, what's the point?
Absolutely. And I used to live in an apartment as well. So we all have that personal experience. And the reality is there is nuance. We have landlords that live in the community. They send their kids to our schools. They serve on nonprofit boards. They don't want their name in the news. They are amongst their renters. We also have some, and especially on the west side, they don't even live in the state of Texas.
Exactly.
And those are the problematic ones that we have all along Dairy, Ashford, Cook Road, Richmond Avenue, you name it.
Yeah.
And what we've heard from industry leaders like the apartment associations that they want an inspection ordinance because it gets the bad actors out as well.
Exactly. So they're not all lumped in once again to one group saying all landlords are bad. They're not.
They're not.
You just got to get rid of the bad ones. Okay.
Correct.
So once again, how can we get more information to get ready and prepare for tomorrow?
Well, sure. Just show up at the Alief Neighborhood Center at 6 p.m. We are prepared to, it's not a typical town hall where you're listening to talking heads. We are literally creating space to listen to those who are closest to the problem so we can inform what we can by the time we get to a council committee by March 30th. So be there. We're going to collect your information. We're going to listen to you. We're going to capture that information. We'll do it again on March 5th, and then we'll get that information to our department. So when we come before City Council March 30th for the committee, it's the most holistic, well-represented ordinance, and hopefully a way to reverse engineer what we've done in the past of just putting something on the books and thinking about it later.
I'm loving the fact that you finally, well, not finally, they do this a lot, but you get a chance to hear from the people who are impacted. Tiffany, always good to see you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, as always.
Absolutely.
And definitely, everybody, reminder, we're going to have this on our website, cw39.com. That way you can, of course, write down the address, because I know it's quick, and all the information you need to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now let's head